Hi, welcome everyone to my channel. One of the requests that I have received from one of my subscribers is that they wanted to cover how we can write a trigger in Salesforce. So, as a part of this video, I'll be going to cover like how you can write a generic trigger. So the intent is like how you can create a basic trigger at your end, and you can understand how you can write a trigger. It's pretty straightforward. So I would not be going through a very complicated scenario. I'll be going through a very simple scenario. Okay. So as an example, I'll just give a brief what I will be covering. So let's say I go to contact object. Okay. So I create a new contact here. Okay. So now what I will be covering is that as soon as I create a new contact, I want that specific value. What is that specific value? I want this language to be populated as German. Okay, once I will save the record, this I don't should not add any value on this language field. It should be defaulted to some value when I save this record. Okay, so this is one scenario. The second scenario is let's say as a user, right? I can select any of the three value for let's say out of from these three levels. So I don't want my user to add let's say specific scenario, let's say tertiary or primary. I don't want user to save this information, so I would like to throw a validation message on this screen. Okay, so that also I'll be covering as part of this. Okay, so I will not be going to write the complete trigger in front of you, but I have already a trigger which is implemented the same thing. What I'll be doing is I'll explaining how you can do this. Okay, so this is my trigger. Okay, so what you have to do is like as soon as you, I mean, as an example, I will say, let's say you go to contact object and you go to the trigger. Right, what you have to do is just have to click the new button here. Okay, so what it will ask you is like what name you want to give for your trigger. That should be your trigger name, and then it asks you events, basically which all events you want this trigger to fire. Let's say as soon as the record is inserted, I want some value to be defaulted, to a specific value. So what would be the event? Event would be before insert. So as soon as the record is saved, I want some value to be populated. So the event is before insert. Okay, now the scenario is like as soon as the record is saved inside the Salesforce, or you can say before the record is saved inside the Salesforce, I want a validation message to be thrown. So what would be the event is like after insert. Okay, so like after I have inserted the record, I want validation. I want a validation so that there is no value would be saved inside the record. Specific not be saved. So the event would be after insert. Right. Similarly, I can go to a record which is already there in the system, and after I will try to update that record. Also, I would like to fire that event. Then the event would be after update. Okay, so if you go to my trigger, I have these three scenarios covering, like it's before insert and after update. Okay, so I have given the name as contact trigger, and the events I am using is before insert and after update. Okay, now the best practice again, like the best practice is to write all this logic inside your controller class rather than writing inside your trigger. I should be calling my controller class. So what should I should be doing? I should be instead of writing the code here, I should call my controller class, and the controller class will do the same logic. But I mean, for now, right now, I'm not going to the best practices. What I will be covering is like how you can cover the logic in this particular video. Okay, so what I have done is like I have differentiated basically when it should fire a specific scenario, so that again, this is the best practice. So the best practice is like you should write when this in the scenario of when the trigger is before insert, right? Before the record is saved, what I would like to do, I would like my language to be defaulted as German before I save the record. So what I'm doing is like for contact ABC. So basically, first of all, what I have done, I have created a new list of contact. A new list. This is the scenario. This is the syntax. List of contact, and then you give a new list. Okay. So now inside your event, which is basically is before or before insert, what I'm doing is I'm iterating through the trigger not dot new. What this trigger dot new is doing, it's like basically whenever you are creating the record, this new will have the ID basically, right? This trigger dot new. So basically what I'm doing, I'm iterating through them, and I'm passing the value in the list. Which list is my list is this ABC. So I'm iterating through the list, and what I'm doing is I'm just checking that the records get defaulted to German as the language. Okay, so this is for the before insert event, right? Now the same what I'm doing is like I'm doing for after insert also. So what I'm doing is event is after and after insert. So basically this is after insert and this is after update. Okay, so what I'm doing again, I'm iterating through the all the records, all the new list of records, and I'm again iterating through my list which is ABC. And what I'm doing is I'm checking if the ABC level is like this is a field basically. If it's not equal to secondary, if it is not equal to secondary, then I should be throwing a validation message on this screen. But there is a validation messages, please select the secondary for level. So it says that you have to select secondary for level 11. Okay, so again now let me go to the again the record. I will try to create a record and I'll show you how this is working. Okay, so let's say I create a new record now. Okay, so I am populating this ABC and I'm populating this user. Okay, now I don't want basically this language. I don't want to populate anything here, but let's say because again there is a validation message here. So if I will save it directly, what it will do, it will throw a validation message saying that please select secondary for level. So I have to select some value here. Okay, so let's say I select tertiary. Okay, again if I select tertiary, it will give me the same validation message, please select secondary for level. Even if I select primary, it will give me the same error. Okay, so please select secondary for level. So once I will select here as secondary, and I don't need to save any value here. Okay, so it will if I select level as secondary and if I click on save button, this value will be saved. Okay, now if you see here, the language is defaulted to German and it allowed me to save the level with level as secondary. Okay, so this is one. So again, this is one scenario to default the language as German, and the second is like to make sure the level is populated as secondary. Okay, now if I will, even if I, because this is the there are two events which are fired in this scenario. One is after insert and another is after it's like the event is before insert and after insert. There are two events which got fired here. Now if I click here and I click as tertiary here, okay, and if I click on save, again it will say error which is please select secondary for level. So now the event that is fired in this scenario is after update. Okay, it doesn't allow me to save the record without the value as secondary, so I cannot. So this is how you can place the validation message also with the trigger. Okay, so in this video, if you see here, I have covered this scenario. This is before insert, and this particular code will be executing after insert and after update. Right? Okay, so you can definitely let me know how you like this particular video, and do not forget to subscribe my channel. And if you have any other questions on how to write triggers, or if you want to cover a specific scenario on the trigger, you can let me know in the comments and I will be covering in the next videos. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching.